People with abandonment issues unconsciously test the people around them to see if they're going to leave. So they poke the bear, poke the bear, poke the bear to see if it's going to bite. Guess what? The bear eventually bites them. And then they blame the bear for biting them when they created the very scenario that provoked it. See, I knew you were going to leave me. But the truth is, their drama, the neediness, ensured that their greatest fear would come true, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
What's up, warrior community? Welcome back. In this episode, we're diving into those abandonment issues. Yeah, those abandonment issues. And we know that abandonment can come from many different places. We may not even realize that something that we're dealing with in our lives may be an effect of abandonment issues and how they're showing up in our lives. And for me, fortunately, I've been able to identify, recognize, and clear up a lot of my abandonment issues. But even in watching these TikTokers, I found some nuggets and ways that abandonment might show up for different people that even I wasn't aware of. So I'm hoping that something that's said in one of these videos will resonate with you and help you unlock yours and recognize them and begin to identify and deal with them and root them out of your life. So without much further ado, let's get into addressing these abandonment issues and understanding them a little bit better.
You have an anxious attachment style and you have an abandonment wound. Here's a simple perspective shift that can help you to heal. I said this to my clients yesterday and it really landed for them. I said to them, to heal the abandonment wound, you must first stop abandoning yourself. What most people do, whenever there's a trigger that comes up and an abandonment wound starts to emerge, they numb their emotions, they avoid their emotions, and most people think that behind their pain there is this big scary monster that they're not going to be able to handle. However, if we were to open up the door to our pain, inside we'll find in a dark room a little boy or a little girl crying out to be seen, crying out to be heard, crying out to be held. That is your inner child. That is little you yearning for love. And anytime that you numb or avoid and you turn away from that emotion, what you're really doing is abandoning that part of you. You're abandoning your inner child. So anytime that trigger, that emotion starts to emerge, instead of turning away from little you, start to turn towards little you. And remember, to heal the abandonment wound, you must first stop abandoning yourself. And yourself is the little you that exists within you. Hopefully that helps. Let me know in the comments if it did.
People with abandonment issues often force people to rescue them as a test. They're really seeing if they're going to stay. So when they get rescued, they feel loved and reassured, but that love and reassurance makes them feel vulnerable, which then triggers their fear of being abandoned all over again. It's like you have a victim in the ocean who gets rescued by the Coast Guard helicopter. As soon as they're safe and you wrap them in a warm blanket, they jump out of the helicopter to be rescued again. And no matter how many times they're rescued, it won't be enough, because the problem is not that they need more reassurance. The problem is that love scares them to death, and they will do almost anything to push love away, even though it's the very thing they want the most. The only way to end the cycle is to deal with the root fear of being abandoned. You have to heal the original wound.
The reason why you want to be chosen so badly is because you never felt chosen in childhood, and you're still not choosing yourself right now. And you're not choosing yourself right now because you've been conditioned to believe that the love that you're seeking is outside of you. So you are continuously trying to get people to choose you so that you can have the love that's already available inside. But because a majority of us were raised by parents who did not feel the love inside for themselves, we were not projected love. We were projected insecurities, fears, doubts, anger, all these things that we're trying to work through right now. So because you have an idea that you're inherently flawed, that you're not enough, that you're not deserving, anyone who gives you attention, you attach to it. And you attach to it because you just want to be loved and seen and accepted, and you want a deep connection so badly, but you fail to realize that you have to be connected to yourself in order to allow someone to connect to you outside of you. This is why you go in wearing masks, self-sabotaging with all these insecurities, because you have not accepted your insecurities. You have not accepted your flaws. So why do you think that you're going to be comfortable with someone else accepting them? You're not. Hence the insecurity. So this is why you self-sabotage, and this is why these relationships usually don't work out, because you are not okay with you. So you're walking around on eggshells trying to portray this character that you don't have to be, because you want to be loved for being you, but you're not showing you. So it's just like, you say that people are not accepting you, but you're not even showing up as you, and that's because you weren't accepted in childhood.
You cannot heal your abandonment issues by avoiding relationships. You cannot heal your abandonment issues by breaking up with the person you're in a relationship with before they can abandon you. You cannot heal your fear of abandonment by clinging to unhealthy relationships that should have been ended years ago. You cannot heal your fear of abandonment by constantly seeking reassurance, people pleasing, or scrolling on TikTok instead of doing your meditation. Here is how you cure your fear of abandonment, and this is going to cure your anxious attachment style, disorganized attachment style, fearful avoidant attachment style, whatever attachment style you have. It is going to cure all of your attachment issues. Close your eyes and imagine you have a child that you are charged with caring for. Let's say one day this child develops a fear of food. So whenever you set the food in front of the child, it just screams, it kicks, it fights, it does not want to eat food. So you try to wait it out, but after a day or two, the child has not eaten. How would you handle this situation? Would you A, say, I don't want to trigger the child, so I'll just avoid feeding the child until it dies of starvation? Or would you B, say, let me try to persistently, gradually expose this child to food in a gentle manner, showing them by demonstrating myself that I'm eating the food, bringing the food closer and closer to them, and showing them that when the food is close to them, nothing is harming them until they take a bite, and then assuring them after they've taken that bite, see, nothing bad is happening. There's nothing to be afraid of, until they finally get over their fear. The correct answer is B. You're going to gradually expose them to the very thing they fear, because the only way to get over a fear is through exposure. You need to stop avoiding relationships and avoiding people and avoiding getting dumped and start exposing yourself to the very thing in which you fear, abandonment. If you're in a relationship right now, go to your significant other, double down on your commitment to them, and then remind them that they are free to go anytime they want for any reason whatsoever. Babe, the guy on TikTok told me to tell you that I am truly scared that you're going to leave me, so much so that I want to run away from this relationship to avoid that type of pain. But he said that I should reassure you that you can leave. I don't want you to feel obligated to stay. And so if you are not totally enjoying it here, I don't want you to just stay to spare my feelings. Please, feel free to go. If your partner responds by reassuring you, you will find his response healing. But if your partner abandons you, even emotionally, it will give you the opportunity to face your fear and thus become healed of the very thing in which you fear. If you're not in a relationship, go out and open yourself up to as many friendships as possible, exposing yourself to the potential that you can get abandoned. Open yourself up for romantic connection, exposing yourself to the potential that you can be abandoned. The more relationships you have, the better. Because in relationships, abandonment and rejection is actually an inevitability. It's an inevitability. The more relationships you have, the more you will be abandoned and rejected, meaning you'll face it more. And the more you face it, the less you will fear it. This will guarantee to cure you.
Have you ever realized that
And to that point, the more you face it, the less you will fear it. And the less you fear it, the less it will happen to you. Because one thing I realized about abandonment, love, anything else, and especially when it comes to like love, when you have you noticed that when you get into a relationship or when you decide that you're not even going to be in one, everything that looks like love shows up, right? Because when we tune our attention to a thing, we, from a spiritual perspective, want to we want to enjoy and embrace and experience the full essence of that thing. But we can't experience the full essence of a thing, whether it be love, whether it be abandonment, whether it be abundance, without clearing up all that is not that thing. So when it comes to love, everything that is not love shows up, and it shows up for you to clear it out, for you to get it out of your subconscious, for you to get it out of your consciousness. And that's the same thing for abandonment. When we are in a situation where we fear we're being abandoned, what are we doing? We're bringing up our fears, we're bringing up our anxieties around it, we're bringing up past experiences, we're bringing up all those things that triggers abandonment. And if you pay attention to that and root out those things, work through those things, clear up those things, the less abandonment you'll experience, because you'll naturally move to a place of acceptance. You'll move to a place of comfort within yourself. And when you're comfortable in yourself, guess what? The wonderful thing that happens is you attract more people who are comfortable in themselves. And in turn, you attract people who are more comfortable with you, because comfort becomes the thing, not abandonment. But we can't get there until we clear up these abandonment issues we have. That's why I chose to do this episode on this one this week. And I hope my reactions to these videos, reactions to these TikToks don't annoy you. The reason why I choose them is because they spoke to me in some way, and they helped me through some issue I've had in the past. And just because I choose a topic doesn't mean I'm totally realized on the topic, I'm totally healed from it. I chose it because some of these words from these creators who have put themselves out there helped me. And I brought them to you on this channel because I hope they help you too. So let's go to the next one.
Applies to you that you never thought applied to you. Listen, yesterday I was hiking. I had this random, I don't believe in random, thought about abandonment issues and how people who hoard could likely have abandonment issues because they're scared to, want to throw things away. They have a trouble doing that. And I was tying that in my head to abandonment issues. And I'm just like, why am I thinking about this? Because that's not my story. Fast forward later on that day, I talked to my friend and I'm telling her about what came to my mind. And then she was like, well, abandonment issues comes in all different shapes and sizes. So yours might not be as severe as being left, but you still could have them, friend. And then I'm thinking, and then I'm like, for one, emotional abandonment. When we are kids, if we're not taught how to emote, if there's not really proper space given for our emotions and acknowledgement and the whole 9 yards, that can feel like emotional abandonment. And I love my parents. I want to be clear. Hey, love y'all. And they weren't taught how to emote. They weren't taught the things that I wasn't taught emotionally. So there's that. So I'm not mad. I want to be clear. It's just like, wow, so I could have that. And then my ability to detach, like I literally did not know that I was emotional until I started on my healing journey like 5 or so years ago now. Like I literally did not know. I was unaware because I was protecting myself because I never felt safe to feel my full range of emotions, i.e. emotional abandonment. I was not very vulnerable, like until recently, the last few years. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, or one parent being there and one parent not, like you can still feel abandoned. And y'all, this was like the light bulbs were just going off. But one thing that I just love about all of these light bulb moments I'm having is the gratitude in my heart. I cannot say enough that I'm so grateful just for my experiences in life and for the people that can point things out to me and having these realizations. Like, I feel so grateful. Like, I am so grateful. But y'all, I just never would have thought that abandonment issues apply to me. And then I'm, like I said, doing my digging and research, and it's like, wow, abandonment is deeper than like physical. But the healing process, the evolving process, the remembering who you are process is so layered, and I'm just so grateful for it all. And that's it. Have a great day.
Grateful for it all. I know that's a hard concept for people to embrace. It was hard for me at times, but grateful for it all because it teaches us how to be more fully ourselves. Let's get it.
If a man abandons you, if there's one thing I want you to take away from today, it has nothing to do with you. Whether he walks away physically from the relationship, whether he stops communicating with you, a healthy man, when he's upset, either with something that's going on with him or something that you've done, has a conversation with you. So if he's walking away without a conversation, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with his childhood wounds, his childhood trauma, his discomfort with emotional intimacy, discomfort with dealing with difficult conversation, difficulty with commitment. It is not a reflection of you. And if you have the tendency to do this, to walk away rather than have a conversation, maybe it's time for you to do your healing work. My name is Iris, and I specialize in helping women navigate dating with confidence, clarity, and feminine radiance. And if you want a no-nonsense approach, no games, no manipulation, just a straight, psychologically sound way to create epic love, go ahead in the bio. There's a free masterclass for you there. And I'll tell you why. Because you are amazing and deserve a great man.
Hi, my name's...
You are deserving and you deserve a great person. Shout out to Forever Love Coach Iris on TikTok for that nugget.
Will, and I have pretty serious abandonment issues. It's something that I've dealt with for my entire life. I had a lot of loss when I was younger, from the death of people to me getting removed from my family and a whole bunch of stuff. And it's really affected me as I've gotten older. I've lost relationships, friendships. Either I push people away when I see them getting too close, or I get too clingy and the person runs away for dear life. And it's something that I've really been dealing with, really been battling with, and I'm doing better, honestly. When I started posting content, my first video did so well. I got so much love, so much encouragement, so much support, and it really meant the world to me. As time went on and my audience got bigger, I started getting some hate too, right? But that kind of just comes with making online content. I used to be the biggest internet troll. So the trolls never bothered me. The people making little comments here and there, I kind of shrugged it off. It comes with the game. But recently I started seeing some of my supporters turn on me. People making comments like, he's not serious because he's not showing us him working out, or saying I wasn't really giving away my power meals, I was eating them after the video. And if these were random people, I'd be cool with it. But these were people who at one point were supporting me. And suddenly all of my abandonment issues got triggered. Everything just came back. I started putting together a video of me giving out my power meals. And actually today I did a workout vlog. And in the middle of doing the workout vlog, I realized this is not what I want to do. I'm regressing right now. I'm folding to the pressures of society. I'm trying to meet the expectations of others rather than doing what I know is best for me. And that's the whole point of what I'm doing this for. This is not a weight loss channel. This is about me becoming the best version of myself, mentally, emotionally, physically, socially. This is a personal development channel. And if you want to be here for it, I super appreciate it. And if not, I understand. But I have to do what's best for me. So I'm not going to show myself giving away my power meals to the homeless because I think that's super exploitative. And you'll probably get a workout vlog, honestly. But I like to focus on my workouts. I don't like to make it content. I want to fully be present in the workout. So I'm not sure when you'll get that. But I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep making videos. And I'm going to keep doing what's best for me. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Shout out to Will Kelly on TikTok for that one. I wanted to put this one in there because it speaks to someone just living in their truth, someone who wants to better themselves and invite people along on the journey. So again, shout out to Will Kelly.
Have you experienced abandonment or betrayal in your childhood? or in your formative years?
I thought I said that too. I'm carrying that now. I suffered from abandonment issues like crazy. Now,
Okay.
still,
Okay.
still, like the fear of that. I did do the work, but I genuinely have a fear.
What was the earliest moment of that abandonment?
Honestly speaking, I feel like with my father.
Okay.
And I've literally never said this, like, out loud.
I could tell because I
Oh
was,
my God.
yeah, you didn't feel comfortable, but I could tell because I'm asking, you're gonna see why, but keep going. Your father.
My father, and just in his younger years, he was living his life. He didn't necessarily stay in one place. I didn't have a father. I didn't have a dad who was there. And one of the things that, yikes, the biggest thing for me, and I have these memories. Nobody's told me. My mom was really big on she never bashed my father, no nothing. I have memories of my father saying he was on his way and he would not show up. I have those memories, being at my grandma's house waiting, my dad's coming to get me, and he would never show up. And then asking myself, why? Am I not good enough? Does he not, am I not, why doesn't he want me? Why doesn't he want to spend time with me? Why am I not enough?
What is wrong with me?
Hello? Sounds familiar, right? What did I do? What did I do wrong? What's wrong with me?
Those words, what is wrong with me? And that is a feeling. It's words, but it's a feeling. And that same feeling comes up in your own words. Like you said, it sounds familiar. I'm calling it out.
Right.
From this moment with
Right.
the friends, right? Because it's a feeling. And what happens is sometimes some questions will be like, why am I still stuck on this?
Right.
It's because that feeling, that's little Jonelle, that is that same question, abandonment, what's wrong with me? What did I do? What can I do?
To fix it, right?
There's so many questions. That cry feels early. That's why when you do sit down and you everything you would say to this person, you just go into that little, the cry that just I saw. It's a very young cry. It's her. And so the way to heal that, because in those moments, even if she ain't got nothing to do with these people right now, that feeling triggers her. So she comes up. And so what happens is whoever is bringing up those emotions too, they are getting what they deserve, but they're also getting hurt from those other moments that she never healed from. Because like you just told me, I've never talked about this. That's more words. This bottle, baby, it got a lot in there.
Ooh, yeah.
Shout out to Tarek Ali Ellis. I'm going to spell that TareKaliellis. Tareka Ellis. I don't know. Spell it again. TareKaliellis. In case you want to go and check that creator out. And this one spoke to me because when I went through this journey of, and let me not speak about journey as it's something that's over. It's not. When I learned about my abandonment issues, this particular TikTok spoke to me because I realized how insidious, and I know I use that word a lot if you've seen my other videos, abandonment issues can be. Because I too grew up without my biological father. But the thing for me was my grandfather, whom I was very close to, may he rest in peace, had a very profound effect in my life. I spent a lot of time around him. And I also had a stepfather in my life for a period of time. And so I never really felt or never really could actualize or acknowledge the fact that my biological father wasn't there. I knew, my excuse me, my biological father wasn't there, but how my abandonment issues manifested in my life was my ability to dismiss people. My block game was fierce. My cut you off game was top notch. If you hurt me, if you betrayed me, my ability to not ever speak to you again was on fleek. And that's not always good because we close ourselves off from whatever that relationship or experience was to teach us, the reason why that person came into our lives. And you lose out on a lot of life when it comes to that. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, sometimes it's in our best interest to not associate with certain people who hurt you, betray you, misuse you, take you for granted. Yes. But how it showed up for me was people who I had deep connections with. Or someone or and it also showed up as me, if I hurt somebody or embarrassed myself in a situation, it was easy to run and hide and feel like I'll go on with my life without that person. That person will go on with their life without me. It's fine. Sometimes that's necessary. But when it comes at a price, the price being, hey, there was something that this person came to show you, and because you cut this relationship off, you're not getting those lessons. Um, and I just found that to be just a very unique way that abandonment shows up in your lives. And I think, in short, what I'm saying is, when you, like, have you ever, if you're in a relationship, or if you were like a serial dater, or you drop things too quickly, whether it be business pursuits or um, workout regimens that you want to start, when you drop stuff too quickly, that can be a manifestation of abandonment issues. And I think that's a lot of what I wanted to say here. Like, it can show up in so many different ways. And that's why I felt like this was a good one to cover, to invite you to look at areas of your life where abandonment might be showing up that doesn't necessarily look like abandonment. It can look like you rejecting other people. It can look like you not giving enough opportunity to experiences that comes up into your life. I thought that one was very good. And as a black man who didn't grow up with his biological father, although I don't personally feel that it led to any, I don't feel like any loss. Of course, I would like to know my biological father. I would like to know, who this person is and why they abandoned me. I had to get to a point where I realized that the reason I left, it has nothing to do with me. He has his own issues, whatever they may be. The space him and my mom was in when they were involved. There's so much of that has nothing to do with me. So let me value the smart person that I am. Let me value the kind person that I am. Let me give thanks for the people in my life who were there. Like, I have a family and friends that love me to the core, and I love them. So I learned to embrace their love, embrace their acceptance. So because of that, I wasn't really wallowing in the absence of my biological father, but there's still a part of you that acknowledges that the person who took part in your conception is not around and did not care to engage. And that is something, no matter how wonderful our lives look, no matter how we've grown up to be this wonderful person in our successes in life or whatever, it is something that has to be addressed. And that's a big part of what this channel is. Like, yeah, it's TikToks, but these TikToks are chosen because I feel like these people drop some nuggets. And I understand that the way I say stuff might not resonate with this person, but the way I say stuff might resonate with this person over here. The way you say something or the way this person says something, it might not land for me, but the way you speak, the way you articulate, the way you position your messages connects with this person over here. So that's why I like these TikToks. That's why I created this channel. And I felt like using TikToks was a great medium to do it because, hey, I found some nuggets in this. Maybe some people can find some nuggets too, or I might learn something and I'm like, okay, I never looked at it that way. Maybe this is something that can help other people. So that's the reason for this channel. I'm sorry for this long pause, but as my channel is new, I'm still finding my footing and seeing how these messages resonate with people. So that's why I kind of take a little bit of time sometimes and explain why I selected certain messages and why certain messages resonate. So I hope that makes sense. Let's go to the next one.
If you love someone with an abandonment wound, which means if you love someone who self-abandons, who overgives themselves to the relationship, overperforms, and then will suddenly blow up out of the blue at you for not doing something small and seemingly insignificant, then these are 3 tips for how to manage their wound and help them. Number 1, you want to take the end of the world approach versus the no big deal approach. That means if you forget to text them, if you forget to do something that seems very small and unimportant to you, but they're acting like it's a big deal, act like it's a bigger deal. Say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I stood you up. Or, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot to text you this morning. If you take the this is the end of the world approach, they will, by default, take that it's not a big deal approach. Number 2, people with an abandonment wound will overgive in a relationship almost so that the give and take is completely lopsided, where they're doing most of the giving and receiving very little. Eventually, resentment mounts when they feel like they are not getting anything out of the relationship but giving so much. So if you are in a relationship with someone like this, one thing you can do is every now and then say, I can never reciprocate what you give, but how can I contribute? Number 3, when these very sweet, overgiving people one day explode almost violently on you for something that seems so inconsequential, it's because they've been storing a lot of pent-up anger about swallowing their own needs and feeling like you're swallowing their needs too. When they do inevitably blow up, instead of saying, I'm blindsided, this is nothing like you, this is not the person I know, act like it's no big deal. Because it's when they feel guilty for their outbursts that they repeat the cycle of overgiving to make up for their flawed behavior. You can learn more about the abandonment wound on our podcast.
You don't want them. You want them to want you because your abandonment wounds from childhood made you hyperfixated on being chosen. How do we fix this? How do we heal from these abandonment wounds and these attachment styles and stop these toxic cycles? The first step is being aware that you have these wounds in the first place, because you cannot heal what you're not aware of. But since you're watching this video, because you probably came from my last video, you're aware that you have these wounds. So step 1, the next step is to slow down and start getting honest with yourself. When you have an anxious attachment, your boundaries, your needs, being honest can seem like a threat because you don't want to do anything wrong that's going to cause your partner to leave you. So many of us were given the message in childhood that our feelings or having any type of problem or anger was wrong. So we are still carrying that idea as an adult because you remember how your mom or your dad would stonewall you or not talk to you or not spend time with you after you made them mad from being honest about how you felt. You're still carrying that same flawed principle in your relationship today. The third step is to be realistic and be honest if you're in an environment that's conducive to you actually being able to heal. I know you so badly want your partner to be on the same page as you and go through this, but that's just not the case with a lot of us, and we need to learn when it's time for us to walk away. Some of you have a deep guilt that you think that you're abandoning your partner. Even though they're treating you badly, you know what it feels like to be abandoned yourself, and you don't want to abandon them. And the fourth step is getting my book and my journal that I created to help you heal. You got to start going deep into why you behave this way. What are some questions that you need to start asking yourself? And a lot of people don't know those questions, but I created the questions based on my own shadow work and healing my own wounds. And I have some coloring book pages here for you guys, to connect with your inner child. And then my book is this is the meat and the potatoes of like the uncomfortable truths that a lot of us don't want to sit with. And then this is the inner work that we need to do to heal. So giving you all the tools, and you can get it, link in my bio. Bye.
You have an anxious attachment style and you have an abandonment wound. Here's a simple perspective shift that can help you to heal. I said this to my clients yesterday and it really landed for them. I said to them, to heal the abandonment wound, you must first stop abandoning yourself. What most people do, whenever there's a trigger that comes up and an abandonment wound starts to emerge, they numb their emotions, they avoid their emotions, and most people think that behind their pain there is this big scary monster that they're not going to be able to handle. However, if we were to open up the door to our pain, inside we'll find in a dark room a little boy or a little girl crying out to be seen, crying out to be heard, crying out to be held. That is your inner child. That is little you yearning for love. And anytime that you numb or avoid and you turn away from that emotion, what you're really doing is abandoning that part of you. You're abandoning your inner child. So anytime that trigger, that emotion starts to emerge, instead of turning away from little you, start to turn towards little you. And remember, to heal the abandonment wound, you must first stop abandoning yourself. And yourself is the little you that exists within you. Hopefully that helps. Let me know in the comments if it did.
We must stop abandoning ourselves. Shout out to him for that one.
Signs of abandonment issues in relationships.
So a person, when they become obsessive about their partner or super clingy, they fall in love quickly, always in relationships, that could be a way that abandonment manifests in a person's life. It also can be a point where maybe this person never wants to be in a relationship because they don't want to even get abandoned. If I'm not with someone, you can never abandon me. Then the person who becomes obsessive with people is they think if they show this person like this crazy love and they do everything right, then it's going to prevent someone from abandoning them. Because really what they're trying to do is that they're trying to heal that wound in their childhood with somebody else. But then the problem with that is those are usually the people that get cheated on, broken up with, and left because no one wants to be loved in a toxic way like that.
I first realised that I had an abandonment wound back in 2020. I'd started going to therapy because I'd just fucked up another relationship. It was a girl that I loved, but I just kept pushing her away. And the pain that caused, especially her, but me as well, was enough to make me finally do something about it. And this was just one of many patterns that I'd seen before. Getting close to someone, getting attached, panicking, shutting down, convincing myself that it wouldn't work, looking for reasons why it's not going to work, not trusting them, not trusting myself, telling myself that I wasn't enough. Now, normally my coping mechanisms would be just push someone away, go out, get pissed, sleep around, numb myself. But this girl was different. It finally made me want to take action and take accountability and go to therapy. And I remember that first therapy session, talking about things out loud that I'd never spoken to anyone about before, and it was fucking incredible. I remember leaving that session feeling the lightest that I've felt in years. There is something really powerful about just being able to express yourself, about being real, about being honest. And over the next few months, we dug a little bit deeper, figured out some things from the past, and that's when the abandonment wound stuff came up. Now, understanding this helped a lot. Talking about it helped a lot, but only to a certain point, because honestly, my behavior didn't change at all. I still closed down, still pushed her away, even though I wanted that connection. And that relationship didn't end up working out. So there is no The Notebook fairy tale happy ever after ending for that one. So I did what I did best. Went back to chasing validation from women, unhealthy coping mechanisms. And these patterns continued to follow me into the next relationship. Now that next relationship was toxic for a few reasons. The abandonment wound definitely made it a lot worse. I knew what was going on. Okay, I just couldn't change it. And that is the reality for a lot of men. We talk about shit. We read books. We watch videos. We know what we need to do, but yet we don't do it. And then we shame ourselves for it. And that's because this wound runs deep. And talking about it isn't enough. This wound is in your nervous system. It's in your subconscious, your heart space. It's woven into the very fabric of your identity. And the only way to get through this isn't just simply talking about it. It's about rebuilding yourself from the inside out, energetically, emotionally, spiritually. You have to bring your soul back together. And when you do that, that's when the real change happens. That's when the patterns finally start to break. Now, some men don't do anything until shit falls apart, till everything goes to shit. And I understand, because I was that guy. But if you are noticing these patterns now, I encourage you not to wait. Face it before you hurt yourself and the people that you care about again. Okay, the world is crying out for men that are willing to take that accountability, face that shit, to step into that healthy masculine frame and become a self-led man. Now, you can't be that man whilst your unconscious wounding is running your life. Other men are starting to step up. Why not you?
Indeed. The world is calling out for men who want to take accountability. And hopefully, if you're watching this and it's in time, even if the blow up has happened, hopefully this is a clarion call for you to take accountability before shit hits the fan, if it hasn't already. Shout out to Dan Lun. That's DANLUNN _ on TikTok for that nugget. Let's get it.
Results for me of carrying an abandonment wound is that I was really, really tight with the one or two close friends that I had. I mean, I'm an introvert anyway, so I don't have 1,500 friends that come in and out like so many extroverts do. But I was as loyal as an old goose. I would hold them really tight. I would put lots of energy into the relationship. But over time, I realized that while that helped me feel safe, that wasn't in my best interest and wasn't in my best interest of healing that wound. I was better off to see different definitions of friends, acquaintances. You know, I could have work friends. I could have, you know, a friend who I only saw in this one particular setting. My friend used to call it a farmer's market friend. You know, it wasn't someone who she would, you know, go on a trip with or spend a whole bunch of time with, but was like the perfect friend to just kind of meet up with and wander around the stalls at the farmer's market and have a coffee with, and then, you know, maybe not see them again for another couple of weeks or whatever. So open up your own definition of what friends and acquaintances and work friends and all those things can be. So often when we have an abandonment wound and we come from that kind of setting, we're always looking for the proof that we're going to be abandoned again. And I totally get it. And so here's what you do. You don't ever abandon yourself. You give yourself the love and consistency that you're looking for all the time. And you allow other people to be part of your life in various different ways. It doesn't have to be just one way. And if they decide that they're not into farmers markets anymore and they start going to grocery stores, that's okay. It's got nothing to do with you, right? You'll look for the next one. Or maybe you'll decide that farmers market solo time is awesome. You can talk to all the vendors, right? You can have a little chit chat and conversations and relate to people and connect with people in different ways. Allow that to be open. It doesn't have to be just one way. And this will open you up for healing too. I love you, and I know you got this.
I love that. Love that video, because what it spoke to me is, it takes me to a message, a lesson that I learned from my dear spiritual mother, is the extent to which freedom is given is the extent to which freedom can be enjoyed. Let me say that again. The extent to which freedom is given is also the extent to which freedom can be enjoyed, which means in the context of whatever relationship it is, the amount of freedom I give you, I can enjoy that same freedom too, which means that, you know, if we're just starting to date or whatever, and I don't call you or text you by 7 p.m. at night, I'm not going to get mad at you if you don't text me by 7 p.m. at night. That's just a very mundane example, but hopefully it gives you context to the amount of freedom that you give another person. You can enjoy that freedom too. And that comes with setting boundaries. That relates to setting expectations on a relationship. And it also boils down to trust. How much you trust a person. How much a person trusts you. There will be a whole nother video on trust. We won't get into that here, but I just love that message because it just speaks to how you can have certain people in different places in your lives, and it's okay to enjoy them, enjoy their relationships in whatever capacity they're supposed to have in our lives.
How to heal your abandonment wounds. The most important thing you need to know is that healing your abandonment wounds and healing your anxious attachment style is all about healing your inner child, and it's all about healing and rewiring your nervous system. Because even though you are grown now, your subconscious is essentially running a program from your 5-year-old self who did not get the love that she should have received as a child. Okay, so how do we heal this? Step 1, start meditating. This is the most important foundational step step because you need to get really, really in tune with your body and your feelings. And you need to learn how to tell that you are being triggered. And you need to learn when you can feel your anxiety coming up, like when a guy doesn't text, or, when he's becoming cold and distant, when he's giving you hot and cold treatment. Meditating will help you really get in tune with those feelings and triggers as they occur. And this is the foundation that you need for all the other steps. Step 2 is somatic therapy. This can be EMDR, EFT tapping, or really any other somatic therapy that is focused on rewiring and reprogramming your nervous system. Because like I said, healing this abandonment wound is all about healing your inner child. And somatic therapies address the wounds that you have at the root. Obviously, talk therapy is important, but what you really need to do is rewire and reprogram your nervous system. This is the key. This is the key. I cannot stress this step enough, okay? You really need to process your childhood wounds. Step 3, reparent your inner child. Okay, so this obviously overlaps with the other 2 steps, but this can be specific meditations and visualizations where you are literally imagining sitting with your younger self, whether you are 5 years old or 7 years old, and talking to her, affirming her, soothing her, holding her, and really giving her all the love that she should have received by her parents as a child. That is now your job. You are now her parent, and it is your job to give her all the love she needed as a child. That could look like telling her, you are loved, you are worthy, I am here. I will never leave you. I am right here with you. And you might have to do this every single day for a long time. But what's going to start to happen is that you will start to gain your inner child's trust. She will start to feel loved. She will start to feel safe and secure. And the stronghold, the chokehold that she has on your nervous system, she will start to let go. And you will find that the things that are triggering you now, the people that you are addicted to and attracted to now, that is going to completely transform. All right, step 4 is journaling. And this, again, overlaps with the other steps. But as you start your meditation practice, your somatic therapy, your inner child reparenting, you should be journaling through the process. Journaling what feelings come up. Journaling when you feel triggered, when you're dating, and you will really start to see patterns, and you will also start to see your progress. And there's nothing better than seeing your progress. Okay, and step 5 would be affirmations and visualizations. So the first 4 steps were all around healing and reprogramming your nervous system, because you have this old story that's telling you, I am not worthy of love. I am not worthy of receiving consistent love. People that I love abandon me. Step 5 would be affirming and visualizing your new story. And your new story is, I am loved. I am worthy. I am cherished. I am adored. People that I love and adore and cherish me consistently, and I am worthy of all of this. So, with those 5 steps, this is going to take a while because you are reprogramming decades of old beliefs, but I promise you, doing this work on a consistent basis will start to heal your inner child. It will start to heal your nervous system, and you will become a new person. You will feel reborn, and it will completely change your dating life and the kinds of treatment that you receive in your love life. And if you'd like more guidance around healing your anxious attachment, check out my profile for more resources.
I love that. I am worthy of all this. You are worthy of all of this. Let's get it. Shout out to Anxious to Goddess. Anxious to Goddess on TikTok for that nugget.
If you grew up in a home where you felt codependent, where you felt neglected, most of the things that you don't like about the people around you, most of the things that you don't like about your life are a misinterpretation. Your subconscious mind is out to prove to you that you are neglected, that you can't do it, that it's hard. In a certain way, you have become your biggest critic. You want a solution? I got you. Now, this might sound overly simple, but as long as you understand what I'm about to say and you remember this, you remind yourself of this, you can get to that place where you want to go. So what's the solution? Pausing. They did a study on people who have more emotional intelligence, and when there's stress and chaos and anger, they took 3 to 5 seconds minimally before responding. And if you're still in your wound of, I was neglected, I was abandoned, I am codependent, 3 to 5 seconds is a long time, but if I don't like how I feel, I can do this. And while I'm taking that deep breath in, while I'm processing everything, all of these options start to come up. Your immediate trauma responses are going to come up immediately. Those are going to be the first ones. But after you let those pass, all of a sudden you have more value and you're logical about it. This person is telling me I'm stupid. I know that I'm not stupid. If you're insecure, you think that there's truth in what they're saying. So you're looking for external validation. And you're looking for external validation from somebody who hasn't seen your progress and your growth and doesn't know any of your circumstances and where you come from. So logically, emotions aside, logically, does that make sense? Ooh, I think I just saw a light bulb click above your head. Ding! So in this example where somebody's telling you that you're stupid, what other options could there be? Why would somebody think that you were stupid? Did you rush the assignment in this hypothetical situation because you had anxiety? Did you forget to double check your work? Did something about you trigger a trauma response in them? And if you're codependent and abandonment, you don't even give something like that a second thought. You don't even think that that's an option. You've been living in insecurity. You don't even consider the fact that you intimidate people with your presence, with your light, with your love. Same thing if you keep on going to, I'm alone. I feel like I'm alone. I'm lonely. I feel all alone. I just ended a relationship. There's nobody around me. What if instead of being sad about that, you took time to figure out what your purpose is, or find a hobby, find an activity, do some research on something, read some literature, gain some knowledge. Or you can do what I did. Go on the self-discovery journey to figure out what are your reactions. What do you choose to react to? How do you choose to perceive the world? For me, when I went on my self-discovery journey, I realized vulnerability is powerful. I can find a way to communicate with somebody who doesn't know me or doesn't like me or doesn't understand me, and I can connect painful moments from my past without speaking them in a way where they are painful. So for example, if I'm having a conversation with somebody and they ask me something, I can say, hold on 1 second, let me collect my thoughts. I'm getting better at directly communicating. I'm getting better at speaking with people. I'm getting better at trusting my intuition. 1 second. And then I can read their energy. I can look into their eyes. I can see if they respect me or if they smile or if they smirk or if they go into a negative space. And then I learned how to set boundaries. I posted a video yesterday where I was talking about direct eye contact, and people told me you don't make eye contact in the hood, like I wasn't born and raised there. You're not walking around your entire neighborhood staring in everybody's eyes. These are people that you're directly connected with. And if you look into somebody's eyes and they say, what are you looking at? You don't want to be around that kind of person. You don't want to be around that kind of energy. And if you're codependent and abandoned, you got a point to prove. So you have to be tough and you have to be strong. So you take pride in that. It took me hitting a rock bottom of all rock bottoms to realize that I was attracted and going into spaces that were unhealthy, that were toxic, because I was insecure, because I thought that was the way to move, because I was abandoned, because I was looking for a father figure, because I didn't have a father. You want to be around people who understand you. Not everybody knows what it was like to grow up in trauma. Not everybody knows what it was like to be in an abusive relationship. But people who have experienced tough times, no matter what their financial statements say, no matter where they're living right now, they recognize that it's powerful and that it's courageous and that they want to connect with people like that. They recognize me. They recognize you. They're not judging your clothing. They're not judging your physical appearance. You are. I've actually created a series on setting boundaries, and I'm going to give you a new definition on setting boundaries. It's actually going to empower you, especially if you grew up in trauma and poverty, especially if you grew up in wealth and you were told to always present yourself as perfect, especially if your mom or your dad told you to focus only on presentation and never talk about emotions and feelings. Don't you want to be yourself? Like really yourself? Like not changing who you are to get validation from other people? Don't you want to be so confident the second that somebody disrespects you, you have the courage to walk away or speak up for yourself? I mean, there's moments in your life where you could have gone in another direction that would have taken you to a completely and totally different place. That's the unknown. You might want to go there because if you haven't experienced the love that you want or the purpose that you want, in order to get to the place where you want to go, you have to think in a way you've never thought before. Move in a way you've never moved before. So when I take time to set my boundaries, aka realize the best version of me and do whatever it takes to give you and give myself more so the best version of who I am, this is how I get better relationships around me. And I can set those boundaries to not be ashamed of the codependency that I'm healing, to not be ashamed of the abandonment that I'm working on. And I can be aware of these things. And the second that I pick up on the disrespect, again, I have options. So instead of me being insecure because I didn't say things correctly, I can say that I said things in a messy way, and I can practice the next time in my own personal time, which I teach you how to do that in these series. But I can still have the confidence to see if that person loves me as I am, or if they like the idea of who I am and they're hard on themselves, and so they're making fun of me because actually they're making fun of themselves. There's a different way to do this. You deserve better, and better is an inside job. Be kind to yourself.
Better is an inside job. Absolutely. Thank you to Nikki Scorpio Life Coach on TikTok for that one. That's NICKY Scorpio Life Coach. Go and check them out. And we've reached the end of that one. This one, Warrior Family. If you stuck around to the end of this, it was a longer one. I appreciate it. I hope you got some nuggets from it. I hope you received something that resonated with you on some level that will prompt an improvement and change into your life, and at the very least make you start looking, make you start asking the questions. After all, that's what this channel is for. Like I always say, please go and check out those TikTokers, those creators, if any of their messages resonated with you on any level. And I just want to take a moment to say here too, no, I do not get any kickback from these creators. I don't, monetize any of their books or courses or anything like that. It's just in my exploration, I found messages that resonated with me, and I wanted to share them with you all. So there's that. And sometimes I question whether I should include some of the longer videos like this last one that was more than 6 minutes, because our attention spans are so freaking short these days. But I just trust that the message will get to whoever the message was meant to get to. So if you do stick around, if you do watch my videos, I thank you for that. I honor you for that. And thank you for honoring me and enough to sit around and give me your attention. I really do appreciate it, and it is not taken for granted. So if my subject matter, if the areas of spirituality that I selected so far resonates with you on any level, if this particular subject or exploration in abandonment resonated with you on any level, please drop a like, consider subscribing to the channel. There's much more to come, much more deep dives, and the channel won't all be TikTok reactions, but these people they put themselves out there, and they share, I believe, from their hearts. At least, the ones who I've selected that resonated with me, I feel like they're speaking from a place, of wanting to share, wanting to help other people, and I try to be conscious of putting those messages out. So that's part of what I think the value is in such a channel. And it also gives space to people who may otherwise, not benefit from as big a platform as some other people. Some of these people, they don't have a lot of views, they don't have a lot of likes or whatever, but they have some really powerful messages. And I want to, create another avenue or platform to get these messages out to more people who otherwise may not access some of these messages. So I hope that comes across in these videos. Thank you, Warrior community. Thank you for hanging out with the Warrior Metaphysic for this length of time that you did today. Peace and love to you, and I will see you in the next one. Be well.